Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. I hope all of you are doing well. So guys, in today's video, we'll see how we can use for each loop. If you remember in our previous video, we have just checked that how we can create multiple instances of virtual machines using count. But today we'll see how we can do the same thing by using the for each loop. There is some difference in the test cases for both count as well as for each loop. So let's firstly understand that what is the different and which use case we need to use for count and which use case we need to use for each. So if we'll go to this notepad, so we were working with count. So in case of count, if the multiple machines we need to create, so the naming convention will come just like machine hyphen 1, machine hyphen 2, machine hyphen 3. But if the use case is like we want the name to be in a manner just like we want to create a web server, we want to create an app server, we want to create a DB server. So in this scenario, our count will not work because count always increment the value with 1 2 3, but every time we don't want the machine to be in sequence, we want those machine to be with specific name. So this is actually the scene that's where we need to use for each, and for each is only the loop that we can use in order to achieve this test case scenario. So what we'll do here is that we'll use the same code that we were using previously with count, but now we'll use for each, and we'll create similar three machines of or virtual machines you can call it as, and we'll do it the same with the help of for each today. So this was the code that we were using previously, so we'll go with the same code, and this is the file that we were using in our previous example also. So those who are new, those who don't have any idea that what we are doing, so if you'll refer to my previous videos, there I have created all the things in detail, where I have created this virtual machine step by step process, and from where I have found out these resources, so you can take it from my that video. And I have explained everything in detail, with the help of slides also, how we can create a connection with the Azure cloud. So in today's example also, we are going to create resources on Azure cloud. So what connection, what everything I have done, so that I have already explained in my previous video. So I'm not introducing all those things again in this video because unnecessary this video will become very lengthy, which I don't want to make it. So what I'll do now, I'll start editing the same file which we were using with count, now we'll use with the help of for each. So firstly, what we need to do here, firstly we need to use a map based variable here. So in my previous videos also, I have explained that we are having multiple kinds of variable in Terraform, just like we can use number, we can use your string variable, we can use a list variable, or we can use either a boolean variable. So in this case, we'll use a map variable. So a map of kind object, because we need to pass few values. So we'll use map kind object, and that we'll use in the variable section, and we'll use it. So how we can use that block? So we'll go to Google, and then we'll start searching that thing. So let's go to Google, and here we need to just search that what is the syntax of map. So once we'll be here with map syntax, then we'll good with that. So let's just type here that map object syntax Terraform. If we'll write it here, so we'll get the very first link, so we can go with this link. And I found this link useful, and here we can see like map can be of multiple types, like it can pass string, can pass number, bool, list, set, anything it can pass. But in today's example, we'll use map based object because we need to pass a complete object to our Terraform code. So if we'll scroll down, we'll get the syntax. So this is the syntax of map based object. So what we'll do, we'll just copy this syntax. Okay, so till end we can copy, and what we'll do, we'll go to variable section, and here we don't need this variable, so we'll remove it, and then we'll paste it. And similarly, we don't need now the tf-vars file because we don't need virtual machines to be placed get used by count, so we can delete it, we don't need it. And in main.tf file, sorry, in variables.tf5 we have just placed our variable here. So here you can see like this map is basically a key value based object. So this key 1, key 2, key 3, these three are the key and these all are the values. So now we'll add it these values according to our requirement. So firstly we'll change the name of the variable with VM. Okay, and it's a map kind of object. Three variables we are declaring here. So first is the name, so I'll change it with VM underscore name. And second, I don't want it to be a number. Second, also I want a string. So what I'll do, I'll select here for it's a NIC card name. So NIC underscore name is equals to string as well. And the third thing that I want here is the IP name. So IP name will also be a kind of a string. So let's change it to string. So we are good with three variables here. And in this default section, we'll place the value of all those things. So why we use this default block here? So default block here is that suppose if we are not passing anything in our main.tf, just like vn name or your nickname, anything we are not passing. So firstly, it will check the default block and it will take values from here. So what we'll do now in this key 1, key 2, key 3, let's make it vm1, vm2, vm3. Okay, and here also let's change it to vm2, and in third also let's get change into vm3. So now three blocks are here, but the value should be vm name, so we need to get it changed. So we'll change it with vm underscore name, and then we need to get it changed with nic underscore name. So nic underscore name, that is good, and its value should be equals to in double quote. So VM name, we want to give first VM name to be as a web server. So let's give it as web server, and nickname, we just want it to be web server hyphen nick. And the third name we want to give it is the IP name. So IP underscore name is equals to in the double quote, we can put it to be web server IP. Okay, so now this block is getting complete. We can copy this block here because we want similar values for other VMs also. So we'll remove it and we'll paste it here. So second, we just want to replace web with app. So this will become your app server, and the third one we'll make it for database server. So now this is the app server. Similarly, in the third, we just want to get it removed and then we want to paste it here. So let's copy it again, copy and get pasted here. Okay, now we want to make it DB server. So we'll change its value to be DB server. And here also we want to get it changed to DB server. And here also we want to make it DB server IP. So now we can get it saved. So variables is saved now. So we are good now. VM1 is this, VM2 is this, VM3 is this, and these three are the values which we want. And these values are of our choice. Now we don't want to get it increment by 1, and that naming convention we don't want. So it's depend on you, your use case, which use case you want to use for your projects. So if you are with this kind of use case where we want specific names, so we need to go with for each loop. And if we'll go to main.tf, so here what all modification we need to do? So firstly, resource group, we don't want to get anything to be variabilized. Similarly for virtual network, for sub network, no. But in case of public IP, because if there are three machine, we need to assign single IP to different machine. So now we'll edit everything, we'll remove count and we'll introduce for each here. So firstly, we'll remove this count value here. So what we need to use here? We need to use for underscore each. This is basically the loop, and its value will be var dot vm. So why I have used this vm? If we'll go to variable, so I'm referring to this variable which is basically vm. So we need to give the value in the same way, and we have given for each here, so we need to take for each here also. So what we'll give here, we'll remove the complete name, okay, and we'll use here each dot value dot IP underscore name. Okay, so why I'm taking this? So when we have for each, so we have two object with each. So each dot key and each dot value. So if we'll go to variable, so each dot key is your VM1 and each dot value is these three value. So I'm picking up the very first value. So each dot value dot VM name. So it will give web server. Similarly for second iteration, it will give app server. For third iteration, it will give DB server. So I'm done with the very first modification related to IP name, because I want IP to be given as a public IP that can be associated with that VM. So I'm taking its value and just passing this object. Similarly, if we'll go to NIC also, so we don't need to do much. We just remove it here, and firstly we need to remove this count here, and we need to use the same thing for underscore each, and this is equals to your var dot vm, and here what value we want, it's each dot value dot, it's a network interface, so nic underscore name we have given there as a group. So this is also done, and here we are passing count dot index here. So here we need to pass each dot key. Okay, so here we are using each dot value because we want value, but here we are passing each dot key. So each dot key will be VM1, next time it will be VM2, next time it will be VM3. So we just need to modify in this way, and once we have these thing here, everything will get similar to the one that we were doing with the count. Now we need to go to security group. In security group there is no modification, we want every machine to have this, to use the same security group. But in case of network interface security group association, again what we need to do, in association also we need to firstly remove this count. Okay, we need to use for underscore each block here is equals to var dot vm, and we are good. Now here in the reference also we need to use the same thing, which is each dot key, and we are good here. Now we'll go to virtual machine. So here also firstly we need to remove the count where we are having count, and we need to introduce, it's a for underscore each loop, and that is equals to var dot vm, and here we need to give the name, so we'll remove this complete name and we'll give the name of our choice, which is each dot value dot, it's each dot value dot, what was the name of machine, it was vm underscore name. So this was the value, and here also if we want to get it changed with the host name, so we can use the same thing, just like we can use here, we can remove this count value and we want to get it append with host name hyphen, so we can use each dot value dot vm underscore, it's vm underscore name. Okay, so this value will also get assigned here. Now where we need to do here, it's the count dot index, so we'll make it with the key, so it will be each dot key, we are good here also. And in case of os disk we'll do the same, either we want to get it append or we want to remove completely, and then we can give the same name. So we can do both the things. So in os disk if we want to make it just like, else we can append it. So what we'll do here, we'll just append it. So we'll use each dot value dot vm underscore name. So we are done with all the modification. Let's get it saved, and let's verify again whether we are having any issue here is not or not. It's a resource group, then virtual network, then subnet, then public IP we have declared here, and this is done. For each is done. In nick also we have used the value, we have removed count, and we have used for each, we have passed each dot key. Similarly, in case of association also we did the modification, and in case of virtual machine we did all these modification. So I think we are good with this thing, and now we'll start firstly doing the Terraform init, and then we'll take a plan, and then we'll see whether the values are getting populated correctly or not. Okay guys, so now let's get test that whether this code is working or not. So firstly we need to open a terminal. So let's go to terminal and then start a new terminal. So here we are in this folder. So firstly we'll do a Terraform init command. So it is basically initializing the backend and initializing the provider plugins also. So I have already discussed these things in my previous video. So those who are new and don't know about these things, just refer to my previous video. So basically what it do, it actually create a folder .terraform. So whatever we have defined in our provider block, so it is basically downloading all those plugins and also initializing the backend. So as we haven't declared any specific backend, so by default it will make it to be a local backend. So our terraform.tf state file will form in the same place from where we are running it. So now we are done with the initialization part, and let's see with the Terraform plan. So now we'll see whether the code that we have written is working properly, or do we have any kind of error in this particular code. So that can be decided with the help of this Terraform command. So we are having some error resources, it is showing here, but we are having two errors here. It is saying unsupported attribute and unsupported attribute, where it is saying it is for output.tf and it is for output.tf. So let's go to output.tf file. So in output.tf file, we were using this syntax when we were using count. So this syntax will not be working in case of for each. So what we need to do, we need to just comment it out this section, and we can do it with the help of double slash. So the value will get comment out. Similarly, we can comment it out here also. So if we'll save it here, and if we'll do a Terraform plan, so this will run. So looks like the file is not saved yet. Okay, so it will not work because the value we haven't specified here. So in case of for each, we need to provide a specific value here. So I'll give you the value that we need to use here, which I have tested and it is working properly. So the value that we need to pass in case of for each will be of kind this. So what it is doing actually, we just need to use value under this angle bracket, and here we need to use for, and then any value we can place here like ip address, anything that doesn't matter. And in values, and this block we need to use, it is a similar block that we were using for count also, like azure rm linux virtual machine dot example. And after that we need to use a colon, and the same value that we are using with for, we need to use ip, and we need to access this public ip address with the help of that particular IP object. So this thing is something that I need to make it work by troubleshooting the errors. So everything is not available in document. So this is available but not in the same way. So I cannot just copy paste from there, because when we do a little bit dig in Terraform, so when we'll move further, there will be so many things that we need to get it work by doing multi-test, or by running that code multiple times, then only we can make it troubleshoot. So in this way, we can get the value of IP address when we're using the for each loop. Similarly, if we want the VM name, we need to use the same thing here. So we'll use similar kind of syntax here for getting the VM name. So it is also same for VM in values And same way we were using for count like Azure RM Linux virtual machine dot example, and after that we were accessing just dot name. So here we need to get it access with the help of this VM. So VM dot name. So if I'll get it saved, so hopefully it should get work now. So let's see the plan, what plan is saying. Yes, so this time our plan ran successfully and it is saying that 16 resources is getting added, and instance IP address will get known once the resource will get created over there, and instance name will be web server, app server and DB server. So now let's get it apply and see whether it works or not. Hyphen hyphen auto hyphen approve. So let's get see whether this works or not. So it depends on scenario to scenario that what kind of looping technology you need to get it used. So either we need to go with a count or we need to get with the for each loop. So here we you are seeing that it is giving VM1, VM2, VM3. So it is creating all those map object, and this time we are doing the same thing by using for each loop. But the beauty of for each loop is that we don't need to get restrict with hyphen 1, hyphen 2, hyphen 3 related syntax or the names of the machines. We can go with any name whatever is of our choice. So it depends on the use case. Whatever is the use case, we need to go with that feature. So these are the two things that is available in Terraform, which we can use as a loop. So here we don't have a kind of for loop or do while loop or any other loop that we were using in previous programming languages. So here we can either go with count or we can go with for each. So this is the example of for each. So let's get these virtual machine get created and then we'll verify the things from Azure portal. So give it some time. I'm not pausing this video so that I can show you end to end. So let's wait for another 1 or 2 minutes because these will get provision within a minute or it may take 2 minutes. So let's get all these things create. So guys, I just reused the code that I was using for count so that I can show you that we don't need to do much modification, but just we need to change something in the variable file and something we need to modify in the main.tf at the same place that we were doing for count. And here we don't need any kind of tf vars files because we are not providing any variable in that file, just like we were using number of virtual machines in case of count in that terraform.tf vars file. So I think creation of VM3 is completed and creation completed for VM2 also, and VM1 is still in progress to get provisioned. And once all these things will get provisioned, we'll see three VMs name as in web server, app server and DB server. Along with that, we'll also see IP of each VM that is associated with those VMs. So let's get it create first and then we can verify the value of the VM names along with the IP name from Azure portal. So give it some time. It is taking some time because I think other machines got provisioned within 49 seconds. Another one got provisioned in 50 seconds. But now third is taking time and we are done with all three setup of all three virtual machines. So let's get see over the portal. If we'll go to the resource group, so there is a resource group example created, and if we'll go directly to the virtual machines, so we are seeing app server, DB server and web server got created. And let's get check web server IP here. So IP of the machine is 20.235.133.90, 20.235.133.90. So we can use this IP and can try log into it. So if we'll go to putty and if we'll try to get it logged in, so just open it and use the credential that we have placed in our VM block in the Terraform code. So yes, we are able to get inside it. So we are good with the login also. So in this way we are completed or we have done our complete demo related to for each. So once we are done, we need to get it destroy. So we just need to replace apply with destroy and we'll be good. So firstly, it will show us that what all resources are going to destroy, and we have provided auto approve. So it will start destroying all those resources without asking for any approval. So as it is now showing us that all these VMs and along with the IP will get destroyed and destruction process is started. So guys, I hope whatever I have told, you are now understood the concept of for each and in which use case we can use this for each. So I hope you like this video, and I'm done with today's video. If you like this video, just give a like to this video and also subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in my next video.